Richard! Richard, help!
Shawn,
Yeah, it's me!
why are you in a sewer?
I was looking for the turtles.
You were as pathetic as you are sad. Now listen to this, because it's a Podbros exclusive. I'll go get a ladder. What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we are speaking the language of bromance. Shawn, today is another special day. It's like special days all over the place. We had special Star Wars Day before,
Yes.
and now we have our other special day, which I'm always happy. This show makes me happy.
Every year since we've done our show, Richard, at the end of the year, we like to do what we call our Bro Huddle episode. And like a lot of people like to think of like, oh, let's review 2017. Let's go back and, talk about all the things that we did this year. And we're like, no, we like to look into the future.
In the year 2000.
Because, we've talked about 2017. We've already done that. So let's get on with 2018. What are the movies, shows, whatever's going on? We want to talk about that. And to help us, what we do is we bring on the founder of the Podbros Network, who gladly brought us in with open arms. It's kind of like what's a good story about like somebody left at like the steps of a church and the church brings them in, coddles them. It's like Babe Ruth. That happened to Babe Ruth.
That happened to Babe Ruth?
Yeah.
He got left at like the doorstep of a church?
Well, I think he was left at an orphanage, but same idea.
I totally didn't know that. Tell me the legend of Babe Ruth. Nope, we're done now. Now you have to tell me the legend of Babe Ruth.
Well, he was an orphan, and then like somebody's like, "Oh my God, he can hit a baseball," and then they put him into baseball, and he played baseball. Not a big story, but it's kind of like us. John brought us in.
Not a big story.
Way of saying that we are bringing in the founder of the Podbros Network, John. John, thank you for joining us tonight.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to get with you guys. I get so excited when we try to schedule out this time of year and get together and talk about the optimistic side of things. I really like that you guys are always looking forward to the future, and this is just a great episode to be on.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, we did this back in the day as like hey, we should get together since we just joined the network. Let's do this thing. And it's crazy to think this is the fourth time we've done this. So we've been doing this for 4 years. So I'm excited to get on with it. So kind of thinking what we'll start with is the movies that we're excited for 2018. So John, you want to kick us off with your favorite or your top movie you're excited for 2018?
Oh, man. Yeah, sure. Definitely. I think there's one that really it's when we get together, I don't think you guys will be so much surprised as maybe some of those that don't know me too well that listen to this. But I have to go with Marvel, man. Avengers Infinity War. That's going to be absolutely. I'm just excited. Really, I'm a Marvel fanboy, and to see it on the big screen, I'm excited for Black Panther coming out soon, but to have that roll into Infinity War, it's tears of joy.
Yeah, you saw that trailer drop and it just looked amazing. Like the first Avengers was like an event. Like it was like, oh my God, I have to see this. Avengers 2 is like, oh, okay, I've done this before. But Infinity Wars just seemed completely different. Like it seems like a whole different story. Every character looks to be in some kind of like extreme danger.
Well, not even that. It's like a cult. I think Infinity War is showing you the culmination. Like everything has so far everything has been leading up to this. So this is the movie that is now like 10 years in the making, because all the story that's come before it has it's been breadcrumbs to this. And now it's shown up. It's here.
It's the payment of your 10-year investment.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. And to see Thanos, oh, man, I'm excited.
He looked good, too, in the trailer. I know a lot of people are kind of not complaining, but making fun a little bit. But I thought I think I was like 2 or 3 days after seeing Justice League is when the Infinity trailer dropped. and you see Thanos there, and then you see the bad guy you had in Justice League, and it's like, oh, man, just like DC, just watch these and take some advice. Like, it's right there. They're giving it to you.
and you, I mean, you want to know what the difference is between those two movies is with DC. I see the trailer. I see a trailer for Justice League, and I'm like, oh, okay, like that looks okay. Like it's got, you know, some people in it, and they're doing some cool stuff. But Marvel gives you this sense of, I have to see this movie. I have to be among the first people in the world to see this movie, so that way I can be in that group. I need to be in this group of people that have seen this movie. It gives you this sense of like, you need to see this. This isn't like, oh, I'll catch it later when it, you know, hops on the internet. I'll catch it later when it hops on video. No, I have to see this, and you have to see it now. You have to go to the theater. Go 3 times. Go to the theater now and watch it now. When I was a kid, like 12 or 13, I didn't read a lot of DC comics. I read more Marvel, but I did like the whole, you know, big crossover events that DC had. You know, you had like, you know, Crisis on Infinite Earths and those big like mega storylines. Marvel, I mean, you kind of had those, but the first one I remember Marvel doing was the Infinity Gauntlet series, or the first one when I was reading comics was the Infinity Gauntlet series, and it was a 6-issue series, and I was like 12 or 13, and I read all 6, and so this is big in my head because I read those books, and I'm like, I know all these stones, and I know that guy, and I know there's gonna be gold space Jesus showing up, and oh my God, this is gonna be amazing.
Well, what's nice too is like the audience knows this now too. So like when we went and saw Iron Man, I'd never really read Marvel comics. So when we got there, I was like, okay, Iron Man, I think I've heard of him, but let's check it out. And at the end, it's like, oh, Samuel L. Jackson shows up with an eye patch on his eyes. Like, I got to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative. And you're all like, Richard at this point is like, oh my God, that's amazing. I'm like, what is that? Like, what's this about? You get to this point, everybody knows everything. They know the stones. They know Avengers. They know pretty much everything that's going on, and everybody's in the know. So there can't be kind of the comic book nerd just getting a little bit of it. Everybody kind of has an idea of what's going on.
Your mom knows what the Infinity Stones are. Your mom's like, they haven't found the 6th one yet. And you're like, Mom, how do you know that?
Oh yeah, so that's what I'm excited for.
So what we didn't touch too much on Black Panther because Black Panther comes out in February, so that's pretty soon.
Yeah, man.
It looks so awesome. Like, I love the chase scenes with Black Panther always seem super cool. Like in this one, whenever the car flips over, just for some reason that captures my imagination. But like their city, like this hidden city's like super technologically advanced, looks amazing. And again, like Marvel and Disney's kind of done this thing with their movies. They don't really give you a whole lot of what the movie's about. Like Black Panther, I really don't know what it's about except, you know, he's trying to fight the one bad dude who was trying to steal all their vibranium, and that's really all you know.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what all they lead you off with, and you're just thinking, okay, I can deal with this because you're comfortable and you're confident in that they're going to deliver on this movie, which they really haven't had a fail yet.
Yeah, the last one that I was kind of wishy-washy was Ant-Man, and that's been 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
That was okay. I was okay with Ant-Man. I would say their first kind of misstep, not really and it wasn't even really a misstep, was probably the Hulk, and then after that was Thor 2. They've had times where where things haven't been as big and grandiose as you would have hoped, but I don't know. For some reason, it seems like it recovers well, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure why that is. Because the Hulk was in their whole phase 1. Like, this is us introducing the Hulk. Look at this dude. He's a guy, and then he turns into a green rage monster. Oh my God! But the movie in and of itself wasn't, anything to write home about, and the actor got replaced.
Yeah, he did.
Right? Yeah.
This is a dude from Fight Club. Yeah, I can see why he's so mad.
He was Jack's switched. I am Jack's not in a movie. I am Jack's disappointed face.
So Richard, then go ahead, John. Sorry.
Oh, no. I was just going to continue with it. I know that there was always rumors set about why Edward Norton wasn't reprising his role of Hulk. And amongst those was basically the fact that he didn't want to go around and do publicity for it, which makes no sense to me. But I don't know. I think in the end, Mark Ruffalo taking over actually helps out the role.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. And I got the impression that he didn't like the direction the studio wanted to take the character of the Hulk, which, I mean, who the hell knows? I mean, I if he did that, then, I understand. He had, thoughts on what he wanted, and the studio had thoughts on what they wanted. And at the end of the day, they're the ones that own it, not Ed Norton.
Well, that was in the early days of this too, so he probably felt like he could say no, I think the Hulk should be like red. Let's do red. And well, we've already got a whole comic book thing on that. But now it's pretty much like you're coming to Marvel. Marvel's not coming to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you see that with Star Wars. You see directors, that have an idea for how they want to make a movie, and then Lucasfilm's like, no, you need to do this instead. I mean, I like directors with vision, but I think that, Marvel and Lucasfilm to a point, they're not looking, they're not wanting your vision. They're like, we have a plan. We have our own set plan. We have a trajectory we're going on. We need you to execute. Like, you can, if you want to add things and, maybe change some little things here or there, that's fine. But we need somebody to execute things. Because we have the plan. You don't get to fuck with our plan. We have beats. We have a place we're going.
Otherwise, then you get Thor 2, and it's just confusing.
Yes.
Who directed Thor 2? Was that Kenneth Branagh, the guy that did the first one?
I'm really bad at knowing who directs the things.
I think someone else did. I thought they had a new director on too. I could be totally wrong though.
I don't remember. I don't know. But anyway, with jumping on the Black Panther bandwagon, I really, really like this character. I like this character more than I thought I would, because it's like, to me, I get the impression that the movie is like it's like if Coming to America and Eddie Murphy was a badass.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, he shows up and beats the shit out of people, and then somebody's like, fuck you. And he's like, yes, fuck you too.
So we're not going to see Black Panther trying to get a job at McDonald's, are we?
Maybe. That would be sweet. I'd be down with that.
So Richard, then, what do you have for your top movie? So we talked about Infinity War, Black Panther a little bit. What's the movie that you're jonesing for?
Okay, well, I mean, just off the heels of finishing a Star Wars movie, I want to see some Solo.
Oh yeah,
that's where I'm at. I'm living in Solo land because, okay, again, like I said before, you have a movie where you had two directors. I think these were the guys that did. I think they did the Lego movie, right?
Yeah, I think so.
They originally they did the Lego movie, and Lucasfilm brought them on to do a solo movie, a movie about the origin, the kind of backstory of Han Solo, and that's all fine and good. And studio got to look at their script and got to look at the direction they wanted to take the film, and they were like, "No, we don't know. I don't think no."
Did they write a script?
I don't know how much. I don't know if they actually wrote the script. I'm sure they had input on it, but I'm saying I guess the direction they wanted to take it. I get the feel, from what I understand, is they wanted to make it a bit more humorous, a bit more and kind of poking at itself in a way. And so the studio kind of put the kibosh on that, and people were going, well, who the fuck's going to direct this goddamn movie? Like, this is a Star Wars movie. Like, who the hell's going to direct this? Who they grab? They grab Ron Forrest Gump Howard.
Has he done anything like good? that I've heard of.
Aside from Forrest Gump? You didn't like Forrest Gump? How do you not like Forrest Gump? Fucking robot.
Ron Howard didn't do.
Yeah, I don't
Forrest
think he
Gump,
did Forrest Gump.
He didn't?
No.
He did.
No,
Did he do?
Robert
He did.
Zemeckis didn't.
He did Saving Private Ryan and
You didn't like Saving Private Ryan?
no, I was being sarcastic. 'Cause he did Apollo 13. He's done like
Apollo.
he's done a ton of great stuff.
He gets those. It seems like he does well with those movies that have kind of some heart to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what like maybe like Saving Private Ryan. I think that if you give me a Han Solo movie where he's playing like Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan, I'd be down with that. Where he's kind of this gruff exterior, and every now and again you get these little kind of like peeks through the curtain as to his actual character.
So like Han Solo comes out after like a big battle and is like, I used to teach 3rd grade math.
Yes. Oh my God, if that happens, I'd be like, oh, I could totally buy that.
I'm sorry, guys. Didn't Steven Spielberg direct Saving
See,
Private Ryan?
what are you
Richard,
doing?
you are fucking everything up on this.
You're the one that said Saving Private
I
Ryan.
did. Yeah.
I was just jumping on. This is what happened. See, I was, you're like, oh no, you just try and shut me down. And then I follow you into the breach. And guess what happens? We get shot. Like the beaches in Normandy in Saving Private Ryan. You're carrying my half blown off body across the beach.
You're cursed, you Ron Howard. I'm like, no.
Mother
And
trucker.
John's safe on the other side. It's like, it's Spielberg, assholes.
I hate.
No.
See,
So
now
Howard is done. Cocoon, Willow, Backdraft,
Willow,
Apollo
He did, yeah.
13,
Willow.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas, A Beautiful Mind, Angels and Demons, Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, the Da Vinci Code movies.
Cinderella Man, if you liked that one. That was
Was that
Oh
a
my
boxing
God! If
one?
you gave me a Star Wars movie that followed exactly like the plot of Willow, I'm sold. I don't even care. Like, give me like fat Val Kilmer in a cage, and he's calling little Han Solo Peck all the time. I'm like, yay!
At some point in the movie, like,
Can I
looks at the
pay
camera.
double for this?
He looks at the camera. He's like, "Do you guys remember when I was Batman?" That's funny. Well, what's great about like the Young Han Solo movie is, again, absolutely have no clue what it's about. They haven't even advertised anything for it except that it's coming out this Christmas time. I think it's coming around Christmas time.
They've announced some of the cast. You get cast announcements. They announced, I can't think of the actor's name that's playing Solo, but they got Donald Glover to play Lando?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I liked him. He had a little piece in the Spider-Man
Saving Private
movie.
Ryan.
Stop it. He had a little piece in that Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, Spider-Man Home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one other movie he kind of popped in. I can't think of it. I thought that was a pretty solid choice. Apparently, which is an interesting casting decision. I'm curious to see how this goes. But there's he's supposed to play like a mentor figure for Han, kind of in his early years, and this mentor figure is going to be played by Woody Harrelson.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Oh, really?
Exactly. Yeah. See, that's when it doesn't sound. You're like, but then you're like, oh, meh.
Well, this will kind of put me in probably the bucket of people you don't want to be put into. But Woody Harrelson was probably one of the better things of the Hunger Games. Like, I thought he did pretty good in there in the first two.
I didn't watch him on principle. I didn't see that Planet of the Apes movie he was in either.
I haven't seen it yet either.
He looked okay in that.
But I mean, that's another movie where there's like so far like it's advertising itself. Like everybody's already got it penciled in that when it comes out, I'm gonna go see it. I don't need to know anything about it or see a ton of trailers. I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah, and you haven't heard anything about it. There hasn't been a trailer out. There hasn't been anything. The only thing I have to go on is, hey, it's happening. Hey, these people are playing these characters, and hey, it's being directed by this guy. Other than that, I've got nothing on it. But still, I want to see it. Because it's me, and I want to see it. So there's my thing. Shawn, what do you have? What do you have for your out of the gate?
So you guys, you mentioned 3 movies so far, and if I could only pick one movie next year, mine is not on that list that you guys picked so far.
Okay.
Mine, I'm going to go with, we've already mentioned him though, the great director Steven Spielberg, and the movie he's directing next year that's coming out. I didn't know I wanted this movie until I saw a trailer for it, and as the nerd I am, I went out and read the book by Ernest Cline. You guys have no idea how excited I am for Ready Player One. I saw the trailer, the original one from Comic-Con. I'm like, okay, virtual reality world, kid down on his luck, somewhat utopian, or not utopian, kind of like a, awful future. And I got the book and read the book, and it's like Willy Wonka for, kids of the 80s and 90s. And the second trailer they just dropped looks super amazing as well. And it's like I said, I'm super pumped for this movie to come out.
I completely agree, because I think that it's kind of a twofold thing, because number one, you're going to have, you'll have, Spielberg. I mean, Spielberg spins straw into gold. Like, that dude can do anything.
He's done some great movies like Willow, Backdraft. I heard he's doing the new Young Han Solo.
Damn it. But the other thing is that, and this is the thing that I think is really, this is going to be the big draw for people, is that movie is going to have so many different characters from so many different genres and parts of the world. It's going to be like one giant internet meme. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. That's the thing too. Like, you can't go wrong basing a movie on nostalgia, really. Like, everyone, it's kind of weird because everyone seems really hyped about this, but there's also like just that small percentage of people that are just kind of, there's a lot of back talk with it. It's really weird to me, because I'm thinking, why wouldn't you like this? It has everything that our generation kind of grew up on, and I mean, it seems just totally fun. Like, it's going to be a totally fun thing.
Yeah, I don't know why you couldn't.
When I was, Shawn, I'm sure everybody saw this when they were a kid. Who didn't love the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah, I was just gonna bring that up.
Yeah, it's Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I'll tell you what, like, I watched that like 6 months ago, because I don't know if it's still there, but it was on Netflix, so I sat and rewatched it. That movie still holds up as a movie. Still holds up completely. It doesn't seem dated or anything like that. But the thing that was so amazing about that movie is you saw all of your favorite characters from childhood in one fucking movie. You saw Bugs Bunny skydiving with Mickey Mouse, and your little kid brain exploded. Because you're like, oh my God, they exist in the same place. That was your first
Avengers crossover.
Exactly. It was your first big universe crossover.
Yeah.
So,
man.
and I was trying to figure out. So I know Spielberg didn't direct that because I just looked it up, but he was a producer. Did he create Roger Rabbit, or what's his connection to Roger Rabbit?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Well, he was on as producer. Kathleen Kennedy was also producer on executive producer on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, who now runs Lucasfilm.
Gotcha.
Oh, wow.
Kathleen Kennedy is actually pretty much responsible for our entire childhood. Who Framed Roger Rabbit,
Seriously.
E.T., The Goonies. Like, she was on as producer for all of those.
Well, I know WB's putting this movie out, so they're going to get their whole catalog of WB, Warner Brothers stuff. I'm curious, with it being Steven Spielberg and him being, kind of this, Hollywood elite person, if he's going to be able to pull in, like you said, like Roger Rabbit stuff, like we'll see, Mickey Mouse in here. We'll see like characters from other things.
Who put out Back to the Future? Was that Paramount? I don't think that was Warner Brothers, was it?
I don't know. Let me look.
I mean, Back to the Future, I think it was an Amblin film, if I remember. I mean, I know he didn't direct it, but you're you see the trailer, and just in the trailers alone, like, you sit there and you pick out all this stuff. this is going to be a movie that you have to see. Which is so smart. I think is fucking genius. And why someone hasn't done this before, I'll never understand. But this is a movie you're going to have to see multiple times just to pick out, oh my God, there's that thing. I didn't notice that the first time.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's that thing. Like I had to watch the trailer like 3 or 4 times. And on the second time, I'm like, oh, I didn't see that in the first one. I didn't see that the first time. I didn't see that.
See like horror movie characters like Freddy Krueger's in the first one. Chucky's in this new one.
Yeah. You have the DeLorean, the van from the A-Team.
Yeah.
There was another one. Oh, Christine, the car Christine from the Stephen King movie.
Stephen King, yeah. Yep.
All in one fucking movie. And it's going to make my head explode. Just like Roger. It's like I said, I feel like it's a modern day Roger Rabbit. And I think it's cool. And I hope that it would be great if you saw more of this, because I think it would definitely sell well. Unfortunately, I think you're running into a world where with intellectual property rights and stuff like that, like I'm sure a movie like this is astronomically expensive.
Yeah. You're paying a lot of the usage rights. But I mean, guess what, guys? You know, pretty soon Disney's going to own it all. So we have nothing to worry about at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't have to worry about those licenses.
So what are your thoughts on Ready Player One, John? I know you kind of mentioned a few things, but is that something that's in your wheelhouse too, or is it something that is kind of...
Yeah. Oh yeah, man, definitely. I'm one of those that anytime that we get some of the fun nerd, geek, pop culture and nostalgia mixed in together, I'm a fan of it. Like, because I know it's not going to last long. And I'll take what we have with it, and I'll ride this nerd wave for as long as we can. So it doesn't bother me any at all. I still need to read the book. I'll tell you that. I've had it and just have never gotten the chance to read it. But now that the movie's going to be coming out, they'll push that up in line of my books to read.
Yeah, Shawn had to hurry up and read it.
Well,
so that way he could be like, well, in the book, this happens in the book. This isn't like the movie. This is the book. And I'm like, oh fuck, it's Game of Thrones all over again.
I actually was going to hold off and not read this book until the movie came out, but I was on a trip, so I had some downtime. So I was like, well, I'll read it. And it's a really easy read. Like, it's really written more for like 14 to 18-year-old like reading skills. And so I got through it like in a week. And I love the book so much. Like, it's got a lot of kind of like inspirational, kind of like why not type stuff in it. Like, go out and achieve the things you want to achieve. And so I liked it so much. So what I did is I went out and I found a first edition hardback copy, which is only from 2011. So it's not like it's super hard to find. But it's actually what I'm giving to my son for Christmas.
Nice.
I mean, I'm hoping he can read it, in a week too. So if he doesn't, I'm going to consider him a failure, even though he's 2.
I want a book report on this now.
And then he just eats it.
Yeah. Baby's ripping it up again. Something's wrong with this kid. I don't think he's mine.
What's he doing? He's eating it. No, he's yours.
So yeah, I'm super, super pumped for Ready Player One. But so John, is there any other movies that we haven't talked about yet that you're pumped up for?
Oh geez, man. I'm sure that there are. That off the top of my head, I can't even think about what comes out next. I'm trying to rattle my brain and nothing's coming up. I'm just excited for more Marvel, more Star Wars, more geek stuff.
I got 2.
All right, I got a couple still too. So what do you got, Rich?
I got 2 more movies, okay? Number 1, we got a sequel, Deadpool. Actually, both of mine are sequels. Deadpool.
Yes.
Sequel to Deadpool.
Oh, yes.
How can you not love a trailer where he dresses up as Bob Ross
Oh my god.
and paints like he's high?
Seriously. Now that Disney and the Fox deal basically is all done, you think we're gonna see a cameo or something at the end of that?
Oh,
Some
yeah.
quick reshoots. Because that's what I'm thinking. Like at the end of Avengers Infinity or something, we're gonna start seeing like some crazy cameos. Like Hugh Jackman said the only time he'd come back and play Wolverine is if Disney acquired the rights from Fox again. And now that that's basically true, could you imagine like all of a sudden you see Wolverine popping up?
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Part 1.
Well, Kevin Feige's got like a super huge boner right now because, like, they're starting to get to that point where it's like, okay, well, we got to get like in our back catalog of characters. How the fuck are we gonna do this? And all of a sudden, this deal comes across your desk. It's like, fucking right, Phase 3, X-Men versus Avengers. Let's do this shit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, not just that. Like, you're gonna get X-Men. You're gonna get the Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
you're getting and everything linked to the X-Men. So that's the X-Force with Deadpool and
New Mutants, stuff like that. Yeah,
New Mutants, and it's nice. There is a little part of me that gets a little nervous when I see big things swallowing smaller things.
Yes.
So it does. I do have a sense of trepidation about it, and since this had just been announced, I'm sure nobody has any idea where they're going to go with it, where they're going to take it. I mean, but it'll be honestly, I'd be happy if we get a cool Fantastic Four movie. If we get somebody, if we get a Reed Richards that's going to be on par with Tony Stark in terms of intelligence.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing you look at too, so this is kind of jumping more to like books and comics, but Marvel canceled Fantastic Four not that long ago, right? Like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing like with this deal, I'm sure that's going to be back on shelves soon because now that they own it, they can create their content for it.
Oh my God! And we could see like an actual Doctor Doom. That would be amazeballs. That would be a great villain to throw in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
So I wonder. So Fox, I don't know if the deal is finalized at this point yet or not, but it was like $56 billion.
Yeah, something like that, 50 or 60, somewhere or another.
So Fox should be able to them getting back Marvel, like you're talking about big things swallowing smaller things. With them getting back Marvel, it's kind of like, okay, well, they really own that anyway. When you start talking about like X-Files and Simpsons and stuff like that, that's where I get really nervous. But with $56 billion, Fox should be able to come up with some good new ideas.
Planet of the Apes, we could get more Planet of the Apes, huh?
No, I think Disney owns that now. That was in the deal. I thought.
No, I'm saying like now Disney has Planet of the Apes.
We'll see though. That'll be the Phase 6 of the Avengers Marvels.
Avengers versus Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Here's my dream scenario. Dream scenario is you have Mulder and Scully investigating cases of crazed mutants.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And then they go and they visit the mansion.
Well, I mean, it kind of sucks because as they come in and see like Avengers 1, he's gonna be like, "I fucking told you the truth is out there. Look at this shit. I've been telling everybody for years."
Aliens.
Let's see. So my sequel that's coming out, there's probably not a ton to talk about it yet, but last time or a couple years ago we talked about Jurassic Park coming out. And or Jurassic World, I'm sorry. I was like really excited for that. Well, we get to go back to the park this year in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Anytime I can see dinosaurs on the big screen, I'm excited. And when they talk about actually doing more practical effects, that gets me excited too. And that's what we're doing in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. The storyline of going back because there's a volcano, I'm hoping there's more to it than that because that seems kind of just hey, we got to get back because of this. But I mean, again, seeing dinosaurs, getting to see the big T-Rex with the raptor scars, like he's there, seeing raptors, seeing all that shit just gets me pumped. So that's another movie that I'm really excited to see coming out this year.
I don't know. I was kind of, Jurassic World, I was like, well, okay. All right. I wasn't, I thought it was okay. I wasn't like, oh my God, dinosaurs.
Well, it's one of those movies that I haven't seen it since I saw it the first time. So it's not one like I got to buy the DVD or the Blu-ray. I got to watch it like 15 times. But it's one of those like good movie theater movies where you're sitting there with your soda and you watch it and you're like, okay, like that was worth, $9 or $10. And that's kind of why I feel like this. Like I'm going to go in, see these dinosaurs running around. The storyline's probably going to be meh. But again, you're seeing T-Rexes, you're seeing raptors, you're getting this, and the plot. They're going to go there, they're going to get in danger. And you know what? I don't know if you two welled up. You've both seen the trailer, right? The new one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you guys didn't well up seeing dinosaurs jumping off a cliff and drowning, you both are heartless bastards.
Heartless bastard. Sorry.
I was like, oh my god, that's the dinosaur with the stone as a tail. How's he gonna swim? Oh, he's not. Evolution's a bitch. Bro, 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 bro.
This is why we died the first time. I mean, you're not. I will say you're not alone in your train of thought, because that movie made a fuck ton of a boatload of money, whole lot of money. That movie made like I don't even know how much money. That movie made
the highest
stupid
grossing
money.
I think of all time for a bit.
Yeah, that movie made stupid money. So I knew there was. So you knew there was going to be a sequel, and I mean, I don't know. I'm just not like, okay, yeah, that's coming out. Might see it, might not. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised to see people like super excited, because you're not the only one. Like, I've seen other people that are like super pumped for this movie, and I don't know. I just like, for some reason it just doesn't. I must have some like chemical reaction where it just doesn't like. I'm not like, oh my god, Jurassic Park.
I don't know. What do you think, John? You got to be. So I'm excited. Rich is on the fence. What are your thoughts?
Oh man, I get excited about this stuff too. Like I think what you said basically is that Jurassic Park reminds me of kind of really what a blockbuster, a summer blockbuster is what it is meant to be. And you summed it up well. You just go, you feel good that you spent, your $10. You saw a movie that you didn't have to think too hard on, but it was just beautifully done. The CGI in it was great, and you got some good casts involved as well. So I mean, you can't go wrong with that, in my opinion. So yeah, definitely, I think that's one that I'm siding more with Shawn on. Pretty excited about it.
Well, I mean, you got to be excited when you got a guy like Ron Howard running the show on it too. So I'm super pumped about that.
God, that man's everywhere.
We don't know who directs these damn movies. Why can't they all just be one?
I don't know. It's
dude?
all basically just like look up Clint Howard's IMDb page, and those are the movies that Ron Howard directed. I don't know. That's it.
So, Richard, you said you had another sequel that you're excited
I had
for.
one. Okay, so one other one, and this one, all I've seen is a teaser for, but this was one of my favorite animated movies, and now we're getting a sequel, and I'm super pumped. Shawn, John, Incredibles 2.
Oh, does that come out this year? Okay.
Yes.
So that's a movie that's on my list that I want to watch with the wife because I think she'd like it. I still haven't seen it. I haven't seen the first one.
You haven't seen the first one?
Mm.
Wow.
What are you doing? What do you do with your life?
Reading books.
Read books.
Wait, is there an Incredible book out there?
No, there is not an Incredible book.
What's that?
Oh, so we gotta pause this.
Yeah, all right.
We got 2 hours.
We'll be.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
With all the superhero movies that you're like watching and going, oh, this looks good. This is good. I like this.
When
You're
everybody
watching Incredibles,
I've always hear people sell me as like, this is Fantastic Four done right.
yeah.
It's a great superhero movie that's fun for the whole family. Like, I know that sounds like I'm Roger and Ebert, but it's true though. Like, I haven't really talked to anyone or heard anyone say anything bad about The Incredibles. It seems like everyone likes it, and that is that I'm excited for number 2 as well. Like, that one, I don't know. I just remember getting kind of like goosebumps and watching that one and getting all lovey-dovey, like heart warms, like, oh, this is wonderful. Great. Disney, you did it again.
That's Pixar.
Yeah, man.
Every time they reach out their little Pixar fist and just punch you right in the feels.
Yep,
exactly.
Punch in that heart and just make those tears start welling.
Yep. Oh, but yes, Incredibles 2. Like I said, all I've seen is a teaser for it, and I'm like, yes, give me another Incredibles movie. I want that. I'm almost as excited for an Incredibles superhero movie as I am like a Marvel movie, because it's got the, I feel like I know that the way Pixar operates, I know that they're not gonna give me a shitty sequel.
Right.
Toy Story 2 was a great sequel. Toy Story 3 had me in a ball on the floor. I lost it in Toy Story 3. I'm in the theater trying to maintain myself so that way I don't look like a pansy in front of my children. Oh, it was bad.
Going, what's up, Dad? What's going on? You okay?
Yeah, it's fine. I just cut onions in here, and I just. Oh.
I think the one that we're all very excited about though is 50 Shades Free.
Mine too. I'm there.
Mrs. Gray will see you now. My wife read those books just as like she just wanted to see what they're about, and she told me the plot of each of the books, and I'm like, how is this even like a book? And then they're like, we're making a movie of this. I'm like, I'm writing smut. That's what I'm gonna do from now on. I'm gonna write smut for pointed to women.
Yep.
That's all you have to do. Just get on.
Hop on that cougar train.
So I've got a couple I'll quick hit on. So the one we don't have a trailer for yet is Aquaman. So I like Jason Momoa in Justice League, so I'm really curious what that movie's going to be about.
Goddamn Jason Momoa,
dude's a freaking like, like he's on like talk shows and like women are like, "Hey, will you talk to me in Khal Drogo voice?" And he does it, and they're like, "Oh yeah." And then he does it to the dudes too, like aggressively, and they're even like, "Oh yeah." Dude is just a specimen. It is unfair.
I hate him.
Yeah,
I hate him because I can't hate. I hate him because I can't hate him.
The only benefit we have with him is like it seems like him and his wife are like super super close. So it's not like he's like it's like you can't date Jason Momoa because he loves his wife.
Thank God.
Right? No, I think you're right. Like he said something like since they were young or whatever, he said he was in love with her. Like he's known her his whole life. And that's the one true gift that was given to us.
Yes.
Is that Jason Momoa has been taken.
Which I mean, I don't blame him, dude. That's Denise from the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
13-year-old me was like, "Hi, Denise."
I don't know if you guys heard the story about him. So I guess like at their house, he was laying in bed and his wife was out in the living room watching Game of Thrones. And his part came on, and I guess like seeing that, like most women got like super excited, and so she came in the bedroom and she got a little Khal Drogo because she was excited, and he kind of was like, my wife will stay up and watch me on Game of Thrones, and then I get sex out of the deal, so it's really a win-win for me.
I hate him. I hate him so much, but I can't hate him.
I'm not gonna lie, my wife listens to our podcast, and I don't get sex out of it. It might actually have the reverse effect.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta just start learning the Dothraki language, and she'll totally
there you go.
Over you.
Start podcasting in Dothraki.
Well, then I need like a 12-pack of abs and be able to do pull-ups for days and not break a sweat.
Yeah.
Do a pull-up. That's where I'm living.
Yeah, it's true. When I'm sitting there going, and then I fart because of all the pressure, not the same effect.
How's that? You want me now?
Haka chaka chuki chichi. She's like, that's Java. That's the other two movies that I've seen, there's trailers for them. Rampage with The Rock.
Oh yeah.
Again, this isn't a movie where I'm like going to go in and be like, this is a work of art, but a giant ape, a giant crocodile, and a giant wolf tearing down buildings. Like, I'll watch that for 2 hours.
Did you play the game?
I did, yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Okay.
Well, I think the benefit of this, like the Battleship one that came out a few years ago, it seemed like that was just strictly the name. But with this, it seems like there's at least a kind of an interesting storyline to it.
Yeah, there was another one. They had Battleship. They're doing Rampage. I swear there was another movie they did based on a board game.
Shoots and Ladders.
Shoots and Ladders.
There was Clue, yeah.
Oh, Clue was such a great movie.
Oh yeah,
I could still watch that. Tim Curry's a fucking master performer in that movie.
And the last one I'm kind of excited for movie wise is based off a video game too. Is Tomb Raider. Like they're gonna go back to the origins of Lara Croft.
It seems like
pretty cool.
It seems like they're doing it closer to the newer, because they kind of updated the games in the last 3 years, and it seems like they're kind of basing the movies more on that than the older games.
And I don't know much about the games. I've never played many of them, but I mean, just the idea of
boobies.
Well, I like the idea of a badass chick going on an island just messing people up, and kind of almost like a female Indiana Jones.
I loved the first Tomb Raider. I had the first Tomb Raider. It was like one of the first games I remember playing on the original PlayStation.
I had like a demo on it, and I could never figure out how to play it because I'm not good at those puzzle games. Like there's the one where you're the guy who can control time in like ancient Egypt.
Oh, Prince of Persia.
Yeah, Prince of Persia. I could never really figure out those type of, you got to jump here, do this, do that. I'm like, I just want to punch somebody. Where do I punch somebody at?
That's true. You told me your favorite game was Max Payne.
Yeah, I love Max Payne. I'm a bro gamer when it comes to like Max Payne, Grand Theft Auto, the Elder Scrolls games, and then Madden, of course. But that's all I have for movies. You guys have anything else in the movies for 2018? We've got a full slate. And I don't know if anybody has like Movie Pass or anything like that, but I think it's going on still right now for $9 a month. You can go see a movie a day. It's not a sponsor for us. I use it though, and it's a very legit like thing.
Yeah, you just got it like 2 months ago,
2 or 3 months ago. I've been going to about 2 movies a month, which is pretty typical. So it pays for itself essentially.
No, I have one more. I had to look up movies in 2018. Kickboxer Retaliation, my guilty pleasure, because it's the other Kickboxer just came out this year, I guess. Yeah, 2017 with Batista in it.
Nice.
And he played Tong Po. And this one, Van Damme's back in it. The guy who played Kurt Sloan's back in it. And yeah, I'm really excited for it. I know it's not going to be nominated for any Oscars anytime soon, but hey, it's one of those I can sit down, turn my brain off, and just enjoy it.
Is that a direct to like video, or is that going to be in theaters?
It says in theaters, but I guarantee I'm not going to see it in theaters anywhere around here.
No, I used to Bloodsport. Oh, I dug that movie so much. I remember back in the day, my parents had the bikes where they had the seats in the back so you could put your kids in it, so they got to watch your parents' butts as they biked. And I remember like we were riding. I was like 3 maybe, and I'm just going who, eh, who, eh, who, eh. I love that movie.
Oh yeah, man. I'm a big fan of it.
I have to stay silent because
Richard's non-violent. He doesn't like violence.
If they had laser swords, and then I'd be down. Is there kickboxing with laser swords? I'm down for that. Give me that.
I think you wrote the next Star Wars movie.
Oh,
I think I just did. Or the next Bloodsport.
Oh, yeah, there we go. There's a crossover I never knew I wanted.
Star Wars it's Bloodsport in space, a Star Wars story.
Yes.
Coming in 2037.
Oh my God.
All right, well, let's jump over to TV. So, John, what are you pumped for like TV, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, all those type of things? Do you have something you're really jonesing for next year?
Oh man, there's a lot that's coming up, and it's just like, how many hours in the day are there? Because I just don't know what I want to, like, if I'm going to have time to watch anything anymore.
Yes,
we just recently got a quick little teaser for Jessica Jones. And
yes,
I am very excited about that. I was a big fan of the first season, so to see that come back in 2018, I'm really excited for that one.
I want to see who the villain is going to the big bad is going to be for Jessica this season, because I don't know if you can top Kilgrave, because Kilgrave was so great. Kilgrave was the first like Marvel villain that you really just was like, this dude is fucking ruthless.
Oh, I know, man. Yeah, he's seriously that you're totally right. He is just one of those that it was just like, wow. Like if you put up all the villains throughout like the Marvel universe, you're just like, this dude is just an absolute animal. Like he is vicious.
He's the one that seemed actually evil.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, like Loki and stuff. Like you can kind of understand Loki's motivation, and some of the other villains like Hydra, and but like Kilgrave just seemed like an evil dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
is it kind of like a Joker where it's just doing bad to do bad for no other reason than to be evil?
Yeah, and also he has like he had no empathy, and no understanding of the damage he caused, and didn't care about the damage he caused. Genuinely did not care about the lives he would destroy in an instant.
Yeah, it's where you guys saw. Like, I think I still have like 8 episodes of Daredevil season 2 to watch. I haven't had a chance to watch Punisher yet.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
Just one of those things. Like, what are the hours in the day?
Yeah,
no,
it is.
Punisher.
It's tough to like have to want to sit down and binge watch all this. You want to, but you still have to go to work. You still have a family you gotta take care of. It's hard.
Well, I'm kind of in this situation. My wife doesn't really like to watch TV too much either, so I can't really watch it when she's up. So it just kind of makes it a little more, because it's not something we watch together. So I have
it's a question of how much sleep you're willing to forego. Like, how much can I get by? How many hours of sleep do I need to just get by tomorrow?
Yeah.
Like, could I get by on 4? I could get by on 4. You're like, but it's like playing Name That Tune with your sleep schedule. Like, I could do tomorrow on 4 hours. So you set a cutoff time, and then you're like, okay, I'll watch Punisher until 3 a.m. and then have to go to sleep.
All right, well, I stop at this stoplight for about a minute or two, so I'll watch a minute or two here.
Yeah.
And there's a spot here, it's a straightaway. I don't need to pay attention. I can watch it here. It's all about, condensing that time. So, Richard, what do you have on your list of TV things
okay, so for TV, like, your heavy hitters are kind of aren't there. So, no Game of Thrones for 2018
that we know of. I've got a question mark on that, because they said late 2018 or 2019. I think is realistically what they're saying, but
2019 is the way I understand it.
Nothing's official yet. Yeah,
they're taking 2018 off to film it, which I think that's a bold move on the part of HBO. I think that the people at Game of Thrones are saying, look, we've got 7 episodes left to do. Give us the time to make these 7 episodes. Give us the time and the creative space to make these 7 episodes great. And we're going to need more than just, 12 months to crank, to give you these 9 hours of television.
If they were doing if this wasn't the last season, I think it'd be less of a bold move. But in this situation, you're telling me last season of Game of Thrones, it's ending. Like, everybody's invested. They're going to watch it. Like, that's going to be an event for 7 to 8 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, we can reread the books. Richard, they're out there.
Not the one that the series is based on.
I'll get to that,
where
Richard.
we're at in the series.
I'll get to that later in our book section.
But if there's a series that I've been watching and that I'm excited to see more of in 2018, I gotta go with The Orville.
Oh, really? I haven't watched any of it yet.
Oh, I love this show, and I didn't think I would, but I really, really like this show. I like the characters. I like, and the big criticism with The Orville is people say, oh, it's just like, it's Star Trek: The Next Generation. I'm like, yeah, it is. I liked Star Trek: The Next Generation. Like, oh, we're making another Star Trek show. Okay, sounds great. And I was very tenuous watching when I was going in to watch it at first, because if all they're doing is rehashing plots from old Star Trek episodes, I'd be kind of meh. But with this, I feel like this has me invested in the characters. This has me, there's moments where it's dramatic. There's moments where it's funny. And I think that this show actually gets something more right than any Star Trek show has done, where it's funny.
Yeah.
Not only is it funny, but the characters themselves are they're more human than the humans that you saw in Star Trek. In Star Trek, I felt like the humans were always written and acted like the paragons of humanity. Like they were the perfect humans in terms of their demeanor, in terms of the way they, spoke and treated other people. But in this, you feel like the humans are humans from Earth. Like they're fallible, they crack jokes, they're funny. And I feel like the show nails the humor better than a Star Trek show ever did, while at the same time being the other things that a Star Trek show was, where sometimes it's, where it has moments of drama, where it has moments of action. One of the big criticism of the show is that, critics are saying that, the show, is tonally confusing. Like sometimes it's funny and sometimes it's, sad and sometimes it's, it's this. But I feel like it balances that stuff and it transitions from one thing to another in a very natural way.
Well, there's a lot of great shows like that. I mean, Firefly's that way. Like Firefly's the type of show that whatever mood I'm in, I can find an episode to satisfy that. If I'm sad, if I'm depressed, if I'm happy, if I'm excited, and I think that's what makes a really good, like almost realistic show.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, I feel like, because I watched, I think the first three or four episodes of Star Trek Discovery. That show's a fucking downer, man.
Really?
That show's a fucking...
You have to pay a special fee to watch it? Is that why it's a downer?
Well, that too. But it's fucking depressing. And not only is it depressing, like, I don't give a shit about any of those people on the ship because they all seem like kind of fucking... They all seem like assholes. Like, I don't care about anybody on the Discovery because I can't relate to any of them. Because they all seem like, they're all secretive and backstabby, and Star Trek, the Star Trek Discovery seems like, if I go to work. It's like dealing with people at work. Star Trek, or The Orville, seems like, a show that I want to watch, and a show that I invest in the characters in the show because they're relatable. So I feel like The Orville is more of a Star Trek show than the actual Star Trek show that's out right now.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about the Orville. I've been wanting to sit down and watch it myself, but it's like we've already said, it's time. It's just time, and I haven't had the ability to do it.
One thing I checked on with the Orville and with Star Trek Discovery is if you look on Rotten Tomatoes, the Orville has like a 20% critic rating and like an 85% viewer rating.
Oh, wow.
And then if you look at Star Trek Discovery, it has like an 80% critic rating and like a 55% viewer rating.
What do viewers know, Richard?
Yeah, exactly, right? Because I remember when the show first came out, all I heard was like, oh, this show's not going to make it. Like 10 episodes and they're probably done.
And they do have a season 2 coming out this year, right? And
from what I understand, like, the show's doing well. The show's making money. So, yeah, as far as I know, we're going to see more. And I'm excited.
Well, the main TV show I was excited for, which I don't think we're getting, maybe we're getting, was Game of Thrones. But HBO is going to have another show coming out this year that I didn't know I wanted until I watched it. And that is, how many of us want to go into a world where we can be cowboys or samurai? And they are coming back out with season 2 of WestWorld.
Yes.
And where we were left off, I have no clue where this is going except robots versus people. And I am excited for that. I don't know. John, did you ever get into WestWorld?
No, I've wanted to. And I actually skipped out on your guys' WestWorld review because I didn't want any spoilers or anything. So
That's where the download went. Okay.
So yeah,
That week
I've
was
been
one
sitting
less.
patiently, quietly, waiting to watch it, and whether I can watch it legally or in not so legal terms, I'll just put it that way. But I'm waiting to watch it.
It's one of those that, like, when it first came on, again, my wife and I don't really watch shows together because she doesn't really like TV, and there's two shows. One's kind of starting to waning. But Game of Thrones, I'm sorry, babe. I know you hate TV, but I'm watching Game of Thrones. And Walking Dead used to be like that, not so much now.
Yeah.
But WestWorld popped on pretty much around that same time, and she watched the first one, and she was like, "Okay, when's the second one come out? Oh, it's already out. Let's watch that. When's the third one?" And whenever she gets excited for shows, I know it's good, and that's one that she was completely on board for was WestWorld.
That was sweet.
So
I think HBO crossed their fingers and was like, please, because all they really had at the time was Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
and Game of Thrones just said, like, hey, we're going to be done soon, and so then HBO's like, shit, we need another hit show, or we're fucked when Game of Thrones leaves.
Well, and Westworld skips 17, so they're kind of like, we gotta get this together.
Because honestly, I think that they didn't anticipate that the show was going to do that well. And once you saw the response to that show, then HBO was like, all right, you guys got to hurry up and do something.
Yeah.
You guys, we need more Westworld for 2018 because the dragons are taking the year off. So we need something from you guys.
They've got this weird dragon.
So that way people need to keep paying these HBO Go subscriptions. We need something to keep them hooked.
The Dragon Guild, they can only work 6 years in a row, then they got to take a year off. It's really difficult. Like, they're real dicks. So, John, what other TV shows are you looking forward to next year?
Oh man, another one. I guess being Netflix heavy is I'm really looking forward to Glow season 2. I was very surprised at how much I enjoyed the first one. I love Glow. Obviously, you guys know I love wrestling, but like, I was very curious to see how they would take it. And Netflix has basically, there's not a lot of stinkers from Netflix either. So when I watched it, I immediately fell in love with it and just that one I binged, and I think I watched it all in a weekend or so, and couldn't wait for it to come out. So season 2, I was excited to hear that they renewed it. Really cool, really fun, and I can't believe more and more people got on board with it than I thought. I thought it was just going to be such like this niche little TV show, but it really exploded with people. They loved it.
How close is it to the actual Glow history? Is it close to it at all, or completely fictional?
It takes a little bit of creative licensing, obviously, but it's not too different. One of the cool things that Netflix actually has is a documentary on Glow, the original.
That's what I was gonna say. I watched the documentary and then watched the show.
Yeah. So like you see, like the characters and stuff are pretty similar in the way like that they had these different types of just very stereotyped characters that they all created, and the fact that it kind of like came out of nowhere. Like at first it was kind of just this weird kind of like, who the heck's putting the money behind this, and what's this really all about? Is this really about wrestling, or is it who's the man behind the mask, behind the wall? And once everything got laid out, and then all of a sudden they had a hit on their hands in the 80s, and then they were just like, the dudes just pulled the rug out from underneath them, and we're like, all right, we're done. And so it was this good thing that didn't get a chance to just become either a great thing or something really terrible. So I was really glad to see we actually got a season 2, whereas in the original you didn't really get anything further.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I've watched, I think, the first 4 episodes, and Allison Brie, I think her last name's Brie.
Yeah.
From Community. Yeah. I've had a huge crush on her since Community came out.
Oh, yeah.
And then with Mark Maron being in there, he is freaking awesome, too.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah, super behind that. I need to finish
Maron
the first
plays
season.
it great. Allison Brie plays it really great.
Yeah.
She's a character that, like, you like her, and then you hate her,
Yeah.
and then you like her, and then you hate her, and she plays a very interesting character that I think like you want to follow, you want to see where she's going, even though she's she's kind of the star, but she's not kind of the star. It's very Alison Brie, I think, plays that character great.
Right. Yeah. I agree with you. She does a good job of playing like the one friend that you have that's kind of borderline acquaintance, because like they just do something that gets you just pissed off, and you're like, why do I hang out with you? And then they do something that totally is a 180, and you're just like, oh yeah.
That's
well,
me.
I mean,
I'm that guy.
She fucked my husband, but then she
Right.
brought me bagels, so I guess we're even.
Yeah, we're even.
So sticking on Netflix, so I've talked to Richard about this. Like, he's always saying, you got to watch this. You got to watch this. I actually had to create a podcast to watch one of these, which was Stranger Things. Like, had to create a podcast just so I could watch that show. But that led me into something that I've fallen in love with. I've finished season 1. I've got one episode in season 2. And it comes out in 2017, but really it's the last like weekend of 2017. And that is the technological Twilight Zone TV series Black Mirror.
Oh my God, is that coming out that soon?
It comes out the 29th, yeah.
Oh.
That's a show that I watched the first, like, you have to get past the first, pig sex episode because none of them are really like that. And I know a lot of people stop on that one. But after each one, like, my mind just is like going, it's like, oh my gosh, like this, that, this. Okay, what about that? What about this?
Yeah.
And it just, it's like, talks about, makes like so many kind of like, perspectives on society and like where we're going with technology. And like, they're not scary. They're very thought provoking. And I absolutely love that.
It's funny because Shawn will text me, like he'll watch, a few episodes of Black Mirror, and then he'll text me, oh, have you seen this? Have you seen, or, because I think I've seen them all. And he's like, oh, he's like episode 3 or episode 2. I don't remember I don't remember like which one is what. To me, they're all, it's all like anthology. It's an anthology kind of show. So I can't think of like what happens in each episode.
Yeah.
And so there was a night, I don't remember what night it was. Actually, this was probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was like, oh, I'll sit and maybe try and watch Black Mirror. And I remember firing up Netflix, and I looked at the episode, and then I would remember what the episode was about. And I'm like, oh, I can't watch that right now. And then I go to the next one. I'm like, oh, I can't watch that right now either. Like I watched them all, but I can't rewatch them because I can't go through all those emotions again. Like, I get done watching Black Mirror, and you feel to a point, you feel emotionally exhausted because of the way it plays with your head.
Yeah.
And I watched it once, and and it's not a case of like, oh, I know what the twist is in this, and so it's going to be ruined for me. That's not it. Even full well and knowing how the episode's going to go, that's what stopped me from going, oh, I don't know if I can do that to myself right now.
I'm just going to eat some chips, dip it in French onion dip.
I'll find something else. I can't do it.
So are you on the Black Mirror bandwagon, John?
But yeah, even then, like, I want to see what's next. I want to see what they're coming up with next.
Yeah,
I'm super pumped.
I heard nothing but good things about it when it was coming out, and I came home one day, I think from work, and my wife was watching. I'm like, oh, what are you watching? And she tells me, and I'm like, all right. So she was already like 3 episodes in or whatever. So I sat down and started watching it with her. I'm like, oh man, I gotta watch this. Like I sat down, and you're right, it is kind of like you gotta have a cigarette right after everything's done.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh gosh.
Cigarette, a stiff drink, and then
man,
you judge all your relationships in life.
Yeah, I mean, it's great, but by the like, after you watch it, like I said, I was just like, oh, I'll just rewatch it, and it just, I don't know if I can do this right now. I don't think I can do this right now. I'll do maybe a different night. Not tonight. I'm tired. I can't do it.
So that's pretty much, I mean, all the TV stuff that I'm excited for Rich, did you have any other TV stuff you're excited for this year?
There was one show, and I can't think of what it was. I'm curious about that show on Hulu coming out called Castle Rock.
Oh,
have you heard of this? One? The Stephen King one, where basically they're pulling from the entire Stephen King universe and putting it on one television show. I'm curious to see how that goes. I think, it's a cool concept. I really want to see how it plays out. But I mean, there isn't really much I have to add to it other than it's an interesting idea, and we'll see where it goes.
That one kind of seems like it's either going to be like okay to watch, or it's going to be just a complete train wreck. Like it's going to just be not like good at all. That's the only two ways I could really see that going.
You can see it either being okay or bad.
Yeah, because that's a lot of characters to try and mix together. Like, unless they did like a comedy version of it, so it's like all the Stephen King characters just like in normal day life. So Pennywise has like a plumbing business, so he comes in, he's like, I fix the float.
Christine's an Uber. Just drives around.
I hope you don't mind the radio.
If you don't give her a 5-star rating, she kills you in the car.
Cujo's a nice service dog, right?
That's awesome. Well, John, did you have any other TV shows that you're excited for 2018?
Oh, man. Off the top of my head, nothing like really sticks out. I mean, like, I know they've been talking about Daredevil season 3, and of course I'm excited for that, but I didn't know if that was really going to happen in 2018 or what.
Yeah, I don't know either.
And
I haven't heard.
Yeah. So I'm not too positive about that. When I see the teaser trailer, then, I'll be really excited. But yeah, and there's just, like I said, tons of TV, man. And
there's so much.
I
mean, you have Hulu in there, Amazon, Netflix, all the regular TV
Stranger
shows.
Things isn't coming back in 2018, is it?
It's not been announced. It might be late in the year, but
I heard they announced a season 3, but I thought they said they were kind of doing what Game of Thrones is doing and taking a year.
I think that's probably the safe bet. I don't think they know for sure. Well, let's jump into the books and comics section. That's usually a little bit shorter. But I just want to jump out first and say for the 4th year in a row, I want to say that I am excited for the best series of all time to release their next book by George R.R. Martin, and that is The Winds of Winter, coming out in 2018.
You know what? I don't remember what I said in the last 3 times you said this. But I'm sure it's something similar, like, well, maybe, but probably not.
I think it like. Oh, go ahead, John.
I was gonna say, man, I didn't know if I should tell you. Please don't say it because you might curse it. I feel like we're the curse of it, man. Oh, how excited! I bet you like you could start from the beginning when we both were like, yeah, super excited about this. To like following it up. Oh, it's gonna come out. It's coming. Oh dear God, please, George, please just release it. I don't care, man. Just come out.
I'm sure the first time we did this, it was like, hey, that book's gonna come out soon. Like he's been working on it forever. And then the second time, it was probably like, oh, well, that book's gonna come out soon because the show's we're about out of show. So he's gonna put the book out before the show. He's not going to, the show's not going to get ahead of the books. That's crazy.
And last year's like, well, there is no show this year, so they got to come out. Or this is the last season. They're ahead of it. It's got to come out, right?
Yeah.
No. And this year,
his editor was saying everything's moving along. Yes, we're gonna get it. Nope.
And I've kind of got the point. I think probably in the last like 10 to 12 months, not looking ahead to see like, oh, well, what's the news on Winds of Winter? And I haven't even looked recently just because I think any news is like, we don't know. Like,
Shawn just flips through the sample chapters over and over.
Oh, yeah.
You open up his copy, it's just tear-stained pages. And
where's Lady Stoneheart? So what about you guys? Do you guys have any books or comics you're pumped for this year?
John, have at it, because I have been so out of the comics game and books. I actually have little to nothing in this category.
Well, yeah, no, man, I'm in the same boat. Hopefully we get when's the winner. I mean, I don't know. I'm not holding my breath anymore. So when it happens,
I'm in the same boat.
When it happens,
I think
I'm done.
either it's going to be amazing and he's going to drop both books the same year, or I'm never going to read the last 2 books because he's just not going to happen.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I'm getting to.
The series is gonna finish, and then the book will come out, and then
that's
you're just like, no.
That's what kind of sucks, because when the series finished, it's kind of like, well, why do I want to read the books now?
Right.
I mean, I do. I still want to, but it's just kind of like,
Yeah, especially like when you're starting to see stuff in the series that you're like, okay, either he's gonna have to write it and get into more detail about, some of the stuff that we thought, or he's gonna totally be a dick about it and be like, you know what, I'm gonna change everything up. Screw you guys. Which I'm kind of worried about.
I feel like Shawn, you could start another podcast where you read a chapter of the book, and then I could be and then I could be like, well, in the show, this happens. And the show came first, so.
Oh man, I think that could work. But in regards to comics, Marvel has had a lot of controversy behind it right now, and it's something that we on some of the other shows have been like dealing with and kind of scratching our heads about at it. And I'd hate to say it, but there's nothing really that Marvel is putting out for 2018 that's gotten me really super excited. For the most part, I've just kind of been on the fence about it. I've just been collecting what I've been collecting. Too many crossover events, I think, have really, really hurt me as a reader, to the point where it's like, you know what? I'm okay with the movies. I'm getting like the rest of the population. Everyone's getting all their American mythos lore of these comic book characters in the movies, and Marvel, they're trying to figure out something, and I hope 2018 turns around for them. But for me right now, there's nothing that really is getting me excited about it. I know that they're talking about bringing back the Phoenix, and I know that's gotten some guys excited. And I'm not too positive any more details about that, so I don't know. I think that they said that they're coming out with an X-Men Red team. Right now they have X-Men Blue and X-Men Gold, and this X-Men Red, I guess, will be led by Jean Grey that they're bringing back. I'm not sure. So
I could see I could see them doing more with the X-Men in now that Fox has acquired DC, because I always the way I always understood it, that was kind of one of the things, like, since Fox owned the movie rights to the X-Men, that they didn't really do much with the title. They haven't really added anything to it or things like that, because if you add another X-Men, then Fox gets to make a movie about it.
Right, exactly.
So if you add somebody super cool, then Fox gets to make a movie about it, and then Marvel's out those rights. But now that Marvel has reacquired that whole stable back, maybe you're going to see a big uptick with the X-Men. Maybe they're going to, start to roll out a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure they are, because they tried this thing with the Inhumans, and some of it was popular, some of it really bombed. And the like you said, the mutants, the X-Men, a lot of it, for a little bit there, they were creating some new cool stuff with it, but then it just kind of like flatlined. And they had some storylines that were going crazy with it, but like I said, it just got a lot of people kind of going, meh. You had a lot of great writers leave, and they went off to do bigger and better things, and you can't blame them.
They're doing fucking TV shows now. Yeah. Grant Morrison's got a TV show.
Yeah, Happy. That's coming out on. Is that coming out on Fox?
Sci-Fi, I think.
Sci-Fi, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, and there you go. I mean, that's exactly it. Now, DC, on the other hand, DC has been knocking it out of the ballpark with what they've been doing, And just recently, and we're getting into it, it's like what's happening right now. They have this, and I think it's called Dark Knight Metal.
Oh, I've seen the covers on those at the comic book shop. I haven't gotten any of them, but they look pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's been a ongoing event, and that's been at the end of 2017 going into 2018. And then we're having a final, this tie-in with some of the Watchmen situation characters that we're getting this, what people believe to be, is Dr. Manhattan was the one who originally created like this DC universe. That's like one of the fan theories about it.
Interesting.
So we're getting into that too. And so 2018 might be a really good year for DC, or it might be a year where people actually are just like, no thanks. But DC has been doing really well, and there's been some big changes. Some guys who left Marvel to go to DC, so I'm really excited about that. And that was something that I didn't think I'd be so excited about. It's hearing myself say, "Hey, I'm excited to read stuff from DC in 2018 that wasn't Batman." And I that's about it though. And in the world of comics, it's just like, hey, with the prices skyrocketing on issues, it's really tough to try to keep up. And if we don't have time to sit down and watch TV shows, it's hard enough to try to read books, man. I'm still like in 2014 and a lot of my reading.
Yeah. Speaking of Batman, and I think this is in 2018, and I'm not sure where this falls. Has anybody seen that Batman Samurai or Batman Ninja?
Yeah, Batman Ninja. Yeah, man.
Does that not look
pretty
dope
cool
as hell?
Yeah,
I thought it was a fan flick for a bit because I'm like, what the fuck is this thing?
Yeah, apparently DC Animation handed the property off to a bunch of Japanese artists that that do a lot of anime and stuff. They're like, well, let's come up with something, and here's Batman.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
It looks awesome. Joker is in like the samurai outfit, and he's got this army, and I'm like, what is happening?
Sounds so creepy too. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Jumping back on comics, like you talked about a lot of the crossover stuff and like the price of comics. That's actually kind of why I've jumped out of DC, because whenever they do these crossovers, you have to spend almost a small fortune just to get all the books you need to stay up to date.
Yeah, that's
so.
I never got that. And it seemed like DC was always really like. It seemed like they were really big on that, where if there was like this big overarching story, you would read an issue of Batman and somebody would make a reference to something that happened in another issue, and there'd be this little asterisk that would say, oh, see, JLA number 522.
Yep. Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, shit, now I gotta go fucking buy this other goddamn book?
Right.
Just so I can know what the fuck they're talking about?
And usually the reference too is like 3 panels. Like it's not, like the whole issue doesn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, man.
That was one of the things I liked about the Infinity Gauntlet was it was 6 issues, and they were
self-contained.
Exactly. It was Infinity Gauntlet number 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it had all your characters in it, everybody was there. Daredevil, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Thor, Silver Surfer, like they were all there.
Right, yeah. No, Marvel started doing that same situation where they were just like, hey, you know what? You got to read this book, and this book. And you're like, I don't normally collect that. Why does the story have to happen in there?
Yeah.
So, yeah, every once in a while, you'll still get something cool where it's just contained in those 6 issues or those 12 issues or whatever they decide to do. But, yeah, for the most part, you just sit there and you go, I'm not spending $4 on a book that I'm only going to read, like you said, Shawn, 3 panels to get what I need to get out of that book.
But my year for comics is, and one of the reasons I don't watch a lot of TV is because I do read a lot of comics too, but the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ongoing series, it has just surpassed the longest continuous run for a Turtles comic. It's like at 77 issues.
Oh, wow, man.
Walking Dead, I'll still pick that up. It's still a lot better than the show, so the comic is still really awesome. There's a vampire image comic that I really like. It's called Rednecks. It's about like these Texas vampires that have been around for like hundreds of years. And it's only on like issue 6 or 7, so it's really good. I just got it in the mail today. they're coming out with a John Wick comic books run.
Yes.
Oh.
I haven't read it yet, but it basically goes back to like young John Wick, like as he's getting into this Assassin's Guild. So
that'd be sweet.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Is that IDW putting that one out, or is that Dynamite? Or
let me double check.
I can't
Dynamite.
remember.
Dynamite's doing it.
Dynamite's doing it. Okay, cool.
Is John Wick out this year?
No, I think Wick will probably be 19. I think they're going to start filming and stuff this year for John Wick 3, Chapter 3. And the other one, since Marvel got the property, they've kind of revamped what the reading material is for Star Wars. But there's the Star Wars, there's the Darth Vader, and there's a Dr. Aphra. It's like APHRA.
Oh yeah, Dr. Aphra. Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
APHRA.
She's basically like a Indiana Jones in the Star Wars universe. So she like goes and gets archaeological things from like Jedi and Sith and sells it. And she's kind of a scoundrelly type character.
Didn't Darth Vader stop? And then
they stopped the Darth Vader that's running alongside the current Star Wars, which takes place between 4 and 5, I think.
4 and 5, yeah.
But they basically created one that takes place right after he becomes Darth Vader.
Oh,
and so you see how he gets his lightsaber, and it's basically like badass, scary Darth Vader.
Yeah.
So it's a really good run too.
Oh, that's
so those are the kind of things that are on my radar for comics.
Interesting. There's making a little bit of a leap backwards, but definitely tying into comics. Is it McFarlane's doing a Spawn movie?
Yeah, I don't know if that comes out this year or not, but
yeah, I'm not sure
because they're going to do it low budget too, from what I heard.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. It's going to be oh shit, I don't remember the studio. Smaller studio. They've put out some more low budget kind of horror movies.
Oh, Blumhouse.
Yes. So they're funding McFarlane, and he's apparently writing and directing. So we're getting another Spawn movie.
Excited for that.
Nice. I think that was all I had. That was the only other leap I had.
Well, I thought something we could do. We usually don't do this, and kind of give ourselves a pat on the back, but I thought we should talk about like what 2018 has for our podcast. So, John, I don't know if you want to start off. So, what's 2018 have for your different podcasts in the Podbros Network?
Oh, geez, man. I'm just still looking forward to keep pushing us and advertise a lot more in 2018 for the network as a whole, just because it was something that I kind of got away from, and I've been meaning to get back into it. It's a great problem to have when you get more and more popular. And so a lot of my advertising budget had to dwindle down to support the network just in general. And so now we're finally starting, thanks to our patrons and those who use Amazon for us and a few other little things, we're actually starting to sustain ourselves. So I'm really happy about that, and start advertising a little bit more and, become the next Nerdist, basically.
Well, we always say it is the best podcast site on the internet, so I'm not surprised. I'm not sure why it isn't yet. It's got to be getting there.
That's right. I got to back up.
It's close. Yeah, it's got to be close.
Yeah, definitely. It just depends. It's like the latest Star Wars with some people. Some people agree, some people don't. And I mean, it's been fun though, man. And so the shows have just been an absolute blast. I never thought, I knew I was going to have fun with Jean Pod Van Dam cast. I didn't realize how much fun I would have with it.
Nice.
And I'm looking forward. We're kind of actually coming to an end on his filmography, but just recently, this past Friday, the Jean-Claude Van Johnson from Amazon Prime came out, so we're going to be reviewing that.
Nice.
That's been fun, and some of the other stuff too. Continue to do the Podbros Promotions. We're trying just to get people to listen in on some of the great shows that we have, versus some of the cool things that happen around here in the Metro Detroit area, and I'm just having a blast. I don't want to keep going through all the stuff. The wrestling show is doing great. The Formula E, the racing series, all electric vehicles, that's been an absolute wonder. We've started since the beginning of that race series, and now they're on season 4, and we're basically, obviously, it is year 4 of doing that show, and the popularity that has grown with that. I can't wait for 2018 even more. I've met some great people around the world because of it.
And you guys, Podbros has just celebrated its 4th year anniversary. So in 2018, you guys are going to be celebrating the 5th year of being Podbros.
Yep. We're going into year 5, and we hope it's going to be our best year yet. This, the great thing about having a small business like this, the startup costs are pretty minimal, but it's one thing that we always joke about is, don't, if you want to make money, don't go into podcasting. But we've taken a hobby, a passion that we love to do, and we're making just enough to support it. And that's been the great thing about it. Yeah, sure, no, I am not going to quit my day job anytime soon, but 2018, I'm really hoping in our 5th year that we're just going to start to see a little bit more and more, great support from listeners for sure.
I didn't know if I might be stepping on some toes here, but I didn't know if you want to announce the Podbros Podcast of the Year for the 3rd year in a row. That's us again, right?
Yeah, that's right, man. That's right. It's been an absolute pleasure to be a part of such a great podcast, such as your guys's, and really being the force. But no, honestly, though, like truly, honestly, having you guys be with us for so long and be so supportive has been an absolute treasure. And I just appreciate everything, you guys sticking with us. And like with anyone, we all have our ups and downs, and like sometimes it's like some months you're like, whoa, what happened? It's like, did someone say something about us somewhere, and then all of a sudden everyone had to take a look, while other months you're just like, what happened to all those listens? Can you guys come back, please? But no, you guys have been an absolute blast, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's like we can't.
I don't know what you're talking about. We make tons of money. We make tons of money podcasting. By the way, do you guys have any food?
This has actually been an hour and a half long. We're wanting to see if you could send us some grub. We're hungry. We're so hungry.
Oh, yeah. Checks in the mail, right?
Well, we love being part of Podbros. I mean, like, this is going to be 3 years ago. We started with Podbros like in October of 14. So, I mean, you guys were around for about a year and brought us on. I think there's only like maybe 4 shows on the network at that point.
Yeah.
It was like Dave, Players versus Podcast, Pencil and Ink, and Take Aim Outdoors. And there might have been 1 or 2 other ones.
Yeah, there was just a few, really.
Now there's a bunch. And we just did the Halloween thing.
Yes.
That was super fun.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was a blast, and it was totally cool to be able to do something like that and have actual people on board. And that's the thing too, we've been doing this for 4 years now, and yeah, it's great to have, like I said, you and some of the original guys to see the passion in podcasting, and to see the fact that we all have faith in one another, and that we've been able to help one another in some way, shape, or form has been amazing. And that hasn't been the case for a lot of shows on the network through all these years. Some come and go. I've had some great relationships with people, and it's all understandable. But I always love seeing it when people actually get excited and they agree and want to do these crossover things, and they want to be a part of something bigger than just their show. So yeah, that Halloween crossover thing, that had me laughing. I loved it.
That was fun.
Yeah, that's when Rich and I were looking for a network. Like, the goal wasn't to just find, like, just to be part of something, or just to be a little image on a site. We wanted to be part of something kind of cool, and I feel like that's what we get with Podbros. Like you said, the PodCon, Twisted Pod, or the Twisted Con of Terror. Unfortunately, we still couldn't find time to get on the Christmas episode this year. We intended to, but it just slipped past us. But doing all those things, it's just great to have that kind of camaraderie of a group.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And I hope in 2018, whether it be me personally or figuring out something, I'd actually like to see you guys in person. And
we gotta plan.
We could visit.
Us do something. It'd be awesome.
Road trip.
Maybe spend a weekend in Chicago or something.
That'd be awesome.
Holiday Road.
Well, for 2018 for Language of Bromance, so a couple cool things that'll be coming up. So it'll be our 4th year anniversary in June. So as long as there's no bumps in the roads, we'll be recording for 4 straight years in a row. So every single Sunday for 4 years.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it like that. You're gonna win's a winner this whole fucking deal.
I've been saying this like all the time. Like I always say like how many we've had in a row. We'll be coming up on our 200th episode around February or March. So right there again, 200 straight episodes.
Wow.
Again, without any craziness. So that's super awesome. The other podcast I've started is Strange Indeed. We're going to be covering Black Mirror. So after we finish the last 2 episodes of Stranger Things, we're going to jump into reviewing Black Mirror, which I'm excited for.
Oh, sweet.
And the other thing I'm excited for is, I don't know if I mentioned it on this show much, but I should be launching my audio drama at some point next year.
Yes.
So I've got like 15 pages left to write in the final episode of season 1. Get that written.
He's almost done. It depends on when the coffee shop's open.
Yep.
Depends on the hours.
The only time I get like 1,500 words real easy at a coffee shop. At home, it's like wife's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm writing." Like, oh, you take out the trash. But that's kind of
That's nice, dear.
That's kind of the big excitement I have for 2018 for our show. Richard, is there anything besides those couple things?
Is there anything I'm excited about in 2018? Let's just make more. We want more. That's the thing is like, it's fun and great to do. And I mean, it's amazing to look back and say, hey, we almost have 200 hours of content. Like that's great, but I want to make more. And I think that's the attitude that everybody has. It's, let's do more. Let's make more. And it's great to be in sync with other people that want to do that. It's great to be in sync with other people that their goal is let's just make great content. And yes, people listen, and there's people that listen, and there's a lot of people that don't listen. But the goal, I think the goal is just, regardless, let's just make great content.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do.
Was that kind of your Richard's closing thoughts? It kind of sounded like one.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's how. That's nice. I'm glad I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. That was nice. Whew. Go me.
So John, before we do our housekeeping, do you want to kind of share where everybody can find Podbros and any of the podcasts you want to kind of push?
Yeah. I've already taken enough time. I'm terrible at this because I don't like talking about it. So I always feel like I'm shilling a product. But yeah, just go to podbros.com. You can find over 30 shows there. So there's something there for your liking, and it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy to say that.
So Richard and I have a new idea for a podcast. It's a bondage podcast. That
yes.
Rich and I are going to do. Do you think that'd be okay?
Yes.
There?
Let's hop on that cougar train.
You know what? I think you guys have something going here. You should make it a Patreon exclusive, and that way you'll start making some great money.
Exactly.
From it. I know I would donate to hear that.
We'll put that on YouTube Red. We'll stream it on Twitch. Be like, this is our bondage podcast.
Certain levels, you get to see the type of knots that Richard and I do to tie each other to the bed and just leave
exactly.
and eat sandwiches.
There you go. Oh, man.
50 bros freed.
All right, well, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. We can send ourselves into 2018. So visit our website, we're languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter, we're at languageofbro. Email us at eatthebeaver@languageofbromance.com. Check out the LOB Army intelligence reports, like us on Facebook, and go out and recruit somebody for the LOB Army by getting someone you know to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Woo! And when you're on there, when you're on any of those lovely services, go ahead and try and find a way to throw up a rating and a review, because those ratings and reviews are super helpful, not only in iTunes or in Apple Podcasts, but in every single service. Those ratings and reviews are what help in terms of rankings. It helps gets our podcast on front pages so everybody can see it.
And as always, thanks to John's open arms, we are part of the Podbros Network.
Because from what I understand, it's the best podcast site on the internet, according to Captain Shill over here.
Hey, I think Ron Howard said it was, right?
I think when he was doing the press tour for the Han Solo movie, I think he was saying that.
No, it was when he was at a junket for Private Ryan.
And as always, if you want to throw a little bit of money in our tip jar, go to our Patreon accounts, www.patreon.com/language of bromance. All right, guys. Was there anything else before we close her out?
No, I'm good. I'm fantastic here. Let's wrap the year up.
I love you.
All right. Well, that's all the bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And I'm John.
And John, how do we like to end our episodes?
I say we eat the beaver.
Whole goddamn show, you couldn't look at a fucking IMDB page.
Hey, it goes both ways.
Fair enough.